It's time to get the lowdown on Mayor Bill Bell. We'd like to welcome Mayor Bill Bell, Durham's longest-serving mayor, recently elected to his 7th term. Why Durham? Why?
Why not Durham? I tell people over and over again that I'm here by choice, not by chance. Durham is a great place. I've had the opportunity to visit a lot of cities in the United States and overseas also, but Durham always feels home. It's different, and it's relaxing. It's a place where you can get things done, where you can get involved. It's just an exciting town.
It is, we agree.
So how did you originally get into politics?
How much time you got? I came to Durham in 1968 to begin working with the IBM Corporation. I'm an electrical engineer by training. Came here, probably planning to stay here 4 or 5 years and then move up the ladder. And like I said, a funny thing happened along the way. I was involved in my community. There was a zoning matter that was going on, and as president, I was chosen to sort of fight that battle. We ended up losing after a year, but in losing, I began to learn a little bit more about the city, about the county. It was a county-ish at that time. And I was young enough and probably stupid enough and naive enough to say, if you can't beat them, join them. So I ran for the Board of County Commissioners in 1972 and got elected, and that sort of started my path.
Have you won every election since then?
No, I've lost an election.
Oh, yeah?
It was a good experience for me. I lost in 1994. People say I lost because of the school merger issue, but I lost because I didn't get enough votes. That was the bottom line to it. But it allowed me to take some time off. I was sort of transitioning in a way. I was getting ready to retire from IBM shortly and spending more time with my youngest daughter, who was I guess a freshman or sophomore at Hillside. She couldn't drive. She was a cheerleader, so I found myself taking her to the games and sitting at games and enjoying the games and those type of things. So it was a good time being out. But I came back in '96 for the county commissioners, and I was successful. I was elected in '96 and re-elected in '98. In 2000, I decided not to run because I had retired from IBM by then. I was pretty comfortable doing things I was doing, working at UDI CDC, where I'm presently employed also. And some people who I've respected over the years came and talked to me in 2001 about considering running for mayor. And that probably was one of the toughest decisions that I had to make personally, because I sort of transitioned and was really out of it. But talked to my family, talked to other people, and ended up deciding to run, and was fortunate enough to be able to win, about 500 votes. But I
So
won.
you've gone through a lot of elections.
Quite a
Do
few.
you still get nervous on election night?
There's always that anticipation, because I don't take anything for granted.
Right.
So you've got that level of anticipation, but generally, I feel pretty comfortable.
Because you almost always win.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your family and your daughter and spending time with them. How do you balance? You've been in politics for now 40 years over, and how do you balance family, a full-time job, and politics?
Well, it's not easy, and you obviously have to have the cooperation of your family, and I've been fortunate to have that with my wife and my kids. So that's a big part of it. But you still try to figure out how you can strike that balance. It was probably more difficult during my early years when the kids were young and they were in school than it is now. But
They have their driver's license.
they got their driver's license now. Yeah, you got it. You hit on it.
That's right.
That's a big part of it. But it's a tough balance. But as I said, you got to have the family to support you in those type of things.
So do you vote on issues at home with your wife?
My wife really stays away from that. She really does. And even my kids stay away from it.
Who wins the arguments at home?
Well, the family wins.
Yeah.
Always wins. That's where you make things happen easy for you. Let them win.
That's
Who
right.
were your role models growing up, in politics or otherwise?
My biggest role model was my grandfather on my mother's side. My parents divorced when I was 5, and I went to Winston-Salem to live with my grandparents on my mother's side, and they pretty much raised me. Of course, my mother and father still stayed in my life, but I was raised pretty much by my grandparents through high school. And my grandfather was a person who had not finished high school, but he was able to acquire property, and he worked at a bank as a courier, and he picked up things from there. And he always kept a steady hand. He didn't have a lot to say, but when he said something, it was meaningful. So if I look at a role model, I look at my grandfather.
Over the years, what would you say is the biggest change in politics now versus 40 years ago?
Social media.
social media?
Yeah, very definitely. I mean, when I started out campaigning in '72, the tobacco factories were still there. You knocked on doors, you went to the factories, you shook hands, you met people. It was a lot more personal. Of course, you did the newspaper advertising, but
Right.
you didn't have the connectivity that you have now with social media. So I'd say that's the biggest change for me.
Do you like it better now or then?
I really liked it better then because it was, and it's funny coming from me, and I'm really not a people type person, but I enjoyed the interaction that you have when you knock on the door, you see people out in the street and you're campaigning, you get ideas, and it was a lot more personal.
Is there anything you change about politics just in America today?
For me, it's the money piece. I've never been one, and I still don't like it. That's the worst part of campaigning, going out asking for contributions. I just have a problem doing that, but it's a part of the game, and I just think it's gotten to be much more a part of the game, a part of the plan than it was many years ago. So that takes a little bit of something out of it.
Well, we'd really like to thank you for being here today.
And that's the Lowdown on Mayor Bill Bell.